So here I am. I want to introduce myself. I am Sergei Bazoev, and Deputy General Director of the largest vertically integrated garmenting business in terms of production facilities in Russia, with local facilities starting from weaving up to the retail chains and own brands. So I was very happy to receive this invitation to participate in the SANTELMO's International Business Policy Board as a guest, and I very much honor that, and I'm greeting all of the members of the board. So I was asked to provide some insight on what's happening with the global virus outbreak here in Russia, so that you can also see this great part of territory's impact, what's happening here. So, and I'd like to say that there is nothing very different from what's going in the world, which again confirms that we're global business. We're part of the global business and global network. And in essence, of course, there are some peculiarities of what's happening here in Russia. And I'd start with maybe from macroeconomics that also impacted how we're doing business in Russia. Firstly, as you all know, Russia has another challenge, which is the oil price. And as they say, this is a perfect storm, and we could see the coronavirus outbreak, and at the same time, the drastic cut in demand for oil and gas products globally, energy as well. So, and given this, the exports are pretty much down on the oil. There are also some issues evidently with the exchange rate, and the exchange rate is pretty important for us, because we import a lot of raw materials to run our business. So one of the questions I was asked is how the virus was affecting me personally and the business, and I can say that personally I have not a confirmed coronavirus disease, which happened very early in the process in March, and I've gone through the 2 weeks of some very strange disease, and at that point of time there were no tests available in Russia, but fortunately I'm here, and very happy just to be with you. So I think my immune system supported that. So this is my personal sort of take on what's happening, and so we're all alive and going forward. Now let's go to the business aspects, and I told you already that the macroeconomics, and we had to actually very much increase our cost of running business, because we imported a lot of materials from Europe and from China, and there were some delays in shipments, and a drastic increase in Russian ruble terms, the cost of input material. So these are the sort of the negative parts of what's happening. So the second very bad part of what's happening is, and I think it's globally is the same, is that given that we have two brands and we have two brands retail chains, we had to very quickly make a decision to close one of the brands which had a fairly good retail chain, and we closed down that brand. Actually, it helped us make a decision that we were arguing on the board of what should we do with this business. In essence, we did cut that to zero, and we're struggling to keep the second brand, which we think is strategic, but we drastically reduced the retail chain as well. So these are the sort of the negative parts negative parts of what's happening. So this is the check. This was the sort of, I touched upon the negative parts, but as I always tell my young friends in the business and all of the employees we have, given the experience, that there is no bad without some opportunities coming with that, and that's the sort of the take on what we have is, yes, we did have a drastic impact on the cost of running business, on some issues with our suppliers. That's number one. Number two, we had some difficulties in actually responding to the government requirements and providing special sanitary condition for our employees to work at, which actually took some resources from management team. But as I said, there are some positives on which we actually focused, and usually this new challenge is what actually the good management team should focus on. And number one is that given that the exchange rate was not very favorable for importers, we see a drastic increase in locally produced materials and garments, and that's what we are very strong in, and we're very well positioned to take up on this demand. So we have seen a drastic increase in demand for locally produced items and materials, and that's number one. Number two, we've seen a drastic increase in the requirement for protective cloth, which is very special, and this is a special. We have not been thinking about. We knew about this market of the medical apparel, which actually covers the protective cloth for the healthcare employees that should be protected, and this was a very big challenge for us to go through all of the certification and actually development of new fabric and actually the special outwear for the medical personnel, which we successfully certified with the regulatory bodies in Russia. So this was pretty challenging, a lot of time and effort which we put into that. This is multiplied by the difficulties that we have with actually, given the fact that our plants are located all over Russia, and the flights have been cancelled, almost all of the flights. We had to do that quickly by actually getting used to use internet and actually following the meetings, the product management meetings and the marketing meetings, using the video conferencing, and I think this is one of the also takeaways from that, and we are now the whole management team is very much used to making decisions over greater distances that most of you in Europe may have. Like one of our plants is about 5,000 kilometers away from Moscow, another one is 2,500 kilometers. So we got used to communicate and make right decisions using that, and I think this will go forward because we see that we can cut on air travel as well. So once again, so the virus is giving us, as usual, some really bad things that we experience, but also gives us new opportunities, challenges, and we should act very fast to react to that. Otherwise, some others would come to take it over. Yeah, this is. I think this is my take on that. Going forward, so everyone is concerned what's going to happen next in the months and years to come, and you know, I could say that in this particular country, in Russia, we have seen all types of challenges over at least my 60 years that I've been in this country. So we had a lot of types of crises, changes of government, downturns, and complete collapse of of the government and collapse of the union itself. So I am, in essence, believe that everything will be okay. So this will be another hurdle behind us, and I think this would be a really good opportunity for us to develop economically. Number one is, and I touched upon that, that on macroeconomics, that Russia at this point of time, we have very, very, very robust hard currency reserves, based almost $500 billion of dollars in reserves, which we've never had before in going through crises like this. Number one. Number two, we have a very good central bank policy, and actually I very much feared that we will have a high inflation rate. With this, still we need to see what's going to happen next 6 months. But so far, I haven't seen any of what my concerns were with the inflation rate. The central bank is doing a great job of confining that. So actually, the rates are going down. So which to me will favor quick recovery of our business, and I think also that we'll have our additional share of the market, which we'll secure from the imports, and with some new products and a much better management policy to take quick decisions and improve communication in the board and with the heads of our divisions. So I am very positive, and I wish everyone on the board to share that and actually work to make this happen. I mean the positive development and return back to normal business. This is all. Again, my greetings from Moscow, and hope at some point of time, this internet video communication is good, but I hope sometime we'll be able to share our views in person with all of you. Again, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. Goodbye.